So this is the Snugpak ML6 Smock that Snugpak gave to me to review for them. So I've had it over the winter and we're just coming to early spring now. And yeah, I like it. I use it pretty much every week. Right now, I've set the camera up because I've got a long wait waiting for some clients to come up here on navigation exercise. So hopefully they all find their way to the right spot. Yeah, despite the fact I'm sat in the sun, it's actually quite windy when the wind does pick up, so it drops down to about 4 or 5 degrees Celsius. So for me, that's when I'm using this jacket, and I think the idea behind it is it's part of the range of insulating and overlaying garments that Snugpak have really built the name around in recent years, with stuff with the military and some specialist outdoor use. I think they're probably known as the premier sleeping bag manufacturer, but they use the same technology and the same manufacturing expertise in the rest of their kit. I've owned some Snugpak stuff on and off for years in one form or another. Some of it military surplus, and some of it just things I've picked up for use in the outdoors or use with mountain rescue or other things. When we get gear to review, sometimes we just say, yeah, we like it. Sometimes we say, yeah, it's got these negative points, you could use it for this. Sometimes we just send it back to the manufacturer and say, it's absolutely terrible. I can't even mention it, let alone recommend it. But this one is right in the upper tier. This is in the, I'm going to keep this in my regular kit. It's going to be used, well, for as long as it lasts. So far, it's lasted a winter of use in the mountains or in the forests. Yeah, so and that's the first thing about it. It's put up with some abuse. As I say, with all our reviews, my kit has to survive quite a hard life. There's no point it being a flimsy, thin piece of equipment that is going to tear the first time it sees an abrasive rock or a branch or the bark of a tree or something. It has to be something I can just bed down amongst the bilberries and the heather here with. I think I'm sat on a pointy branch at the moment, which is quite uncomfortable, but it's giving me a good view down the hill here. And this, yeah, it gets stuffed into my bag, pulled out, dragged across the back of the vehicle. I left it on the roof rack once and it survived that. Yeah, it's, in terms of the rugged build quality that you expect from a brand like Snugpak, then yeah, everything's there. I also like the design. You've got these little, put the pencil down, you've got these little thumb loop things, so that when you stretch out or you reach out for something, you don't end up with the cold exposed wrist. Also makes it quite handy for checking what the time is on your watch. You've got this particularly bright lining, which isn't that great if you're wanting to be discreet about where you are, or you're working on something where being seen from a distance isn't maybe the best thing. But for civilian outdoor use and general outdoor use, it's great, and it also means you can find it if you've if you've put it down somewhere in the dark. And you've got some little orange tabs on the zips and things, so it's fairly bright. And it gets a bit monotonous having dark green, black, grey, brown clothing all the time. The Velcro morale patch things on the arms, you've got a big square one here, you've got a small one here, there's a bigger one here on the chest, and there's a small one on the back of the collar. They're great. I mean, they're not to everyone's taste, and if you haven't got Velcro patches or identification things to put on there already, then it's not really, it's possibly something, it's possibly a drawback. But if you're working, say, like me, so I'm an instructor, so I've got my company logo on there and Piran's Cross to show where I'm from, and a few other badges and things, then it's great. If you're working in, say, mountain rescue, search and rescue team, it's great for a team badge, but it means you can also take it off when you go off duty or when you're using it in the hills on your own, and you don't want to be associated with that brand, or it's not appropriate to be. The pockets are in the right place. There's a hand warmer pocket down here that goes from one side to the other, so you can actually link your hands there, or you can put something in the pocket from this side and then later on fetch it from this side if you're driving or it's easier to do that. You've also got this pocket across here, so you've got the big sort of dump thing here. That's about right for putting an OS map in, or I dump the binoculars in there sometimes. I've even carried a small camera around in there. There are a couple of other pockets here on the front, small one there, and then a even smaller one there, with a D-ring here and this Velcro fold down thing that keeps it all together. I must say, this is the only place I've noticed the stitch quality, well, not stitch quality, it's just if you're giving your equipment a hard life, and I must say I do, as we know from the other reviews, then this is probably an area where that's going to start to become an issue, because this is where I've started to pull away some of the stitching, and I think that's where it's been caught on something as I've pulled up or scrambled over something. So I don't think it's really a mark against the brand or the coat. I think it's more of an indication of how I use these things. But anywhere else, on the cuffs and on the collar and on the edges of the pockets, it's all staying there quite well. It's quite solid. So if it was a manufacturing problem, it will be showing elsewhere. Because it's only in that one place and it's a very exposed area, I think it's just me. There are a few drawbacks, or at least a few things that need mentioning to make this an honest review. And even though I get this equipment for free sometimes, I do have to give an honest review, because if I just say, yeah, it's brilliant, everything's brilliant, send me more kit, then it's not a review, it's just an advert. Whereas I need to say a few things that either I don't like or I want to improve on. So I think the main thing is the packed size. This, because it's not a down, it's a synthetic fill, and it's quite a bulky synthetic fill, it doesn't pack down to that smaller size. When it's packed down, it's about that kind of size, which does take up a decent amount of room in a 40-litre day sack. So it means that you are giving away quite a lot of volume in your carrying capacity in your luggage or your rucksack to this jacket. And the other thing is that even though it's water resistant to lots of weights, it's not quite waterproof. So even though it is a synthetic fill and it will still stay warm when it is wet, and I have worn it in the wet, it doesn't shed the water that well. It does take quite a while to dry out. That said, it's only on I think I've washed it once in the time I've had it, and it still looks quite bright and still looks fairly new. You'd think this is only a couple of months old or a year old. I don't think you'd be able to tell the difference from one to the other. And I suppose the other thing is that it hasn't got a hood. Sometimes it'd just be nice to sort of envelop yourself in a nice big insulated hood as well, particularly when you're sat doing an observation thing like this, or you're standing around in the early hours near a vehicle, or you're not generating any heat. It's just nice to pull that up and really throw it in. But I think I know where they're going with that. First of all, I just complained about the packed size. So if you had a hood in there, that would make that problem even worse. And there's also a thing with, if a jacket is going to be used in some tactical or operational sense, then hoods aren't great. If you've got a hood up, you can't hear things to the sides or behind you as easily. If you're searching, then if you're out searching for a missing person, then it's hoods down, so you could hear any replies to any shouts you're giving, or someone who's heard you coming past, they're shouting to you for help. You need to have your hood down for that. So when I was in a mountain rescue team and the stuff we do with the military and a few other places, I don't tend to use a hood. I use this hat. In fact, this is why you see this hat in all the videos. So sometimes it would be nice to have a hood, but it's not a deal breaker, and I don't really miss it. And you can just put a hat on, put a big hat on. I went for a slightly larger size than would be a snug fit on me, because I wanted this to be an overlaying jacket when I requested one for review, because I wanted it to be something that I could trek to the top of the hill with a group, say get up to the top of Munro in Scotland. So working hard in fairly cold conditions, but building up some heat, building up a bit of sweat. And then when I get to the top, I know we're going to be standing up there for 4 or 5 minutes, taking photos, doing the usual selfies, and, you know, oh, look at that sky, and you can see things over there. You know you're going to be standing there in the cold, losing heat for those 4 or 5 minutes, and then moving on after that. So this is perfect to keep somewhere near the top of my rucksack, pull out of the bag, throw on the top of my base layer or my windproof or even my waterproof sometimes, and it fits on there without being restrictive, and I can still move my arms or get into my rucksack or bring the camera up. It works really well for that. In terms of warmth, I've used it so far leading charity groups on Ben Nevis in October, where it was sub-zero on the summit. I've used it in the limited amount of Welsh winter that we had this year and the snow here. I've used it multiple times in the early hours waiting for groups, or on things where I'm having to sit quietly waiting for a group to arrive in the dark or in the cold. I've used it just when I'm doing low energy outdoor activities that need to maintain some heat, but it doesn't matter. I'm not actually generating that much heat. It's just the perfect jacket to keep on, and if I stop and talk to somebody for 5 minutes, I'm not going to feel the cold. So in summary, that's what this is. This is a fairly rugged, not terrible looking, overlaying insulating jacket. It's a block insulation layer that takes up a fair amount of room in my rucksack, and it has got some particular features like no hood and the Velcro patches and that kind of thing. It's very good at what I think Snugpak intended it to do, and as long as I'm using it in that way, it's a fabulous jacket. It's absolutely fantastic, and I would recommend this to anybody. If it fits you and you like the cut and you're happy with the packed size and the colours and that kind of thing, then this is as good as anything else that might be on your shortlist. And yeah, if I had the opportunity to buy one of these, having had the experience to try it out, and I don't know if they were going to take this away from me again, I think I would buy one. I might try and get a bit of a discount, but you know, I think this is as good as any other big block insulation synthetic layer in my kit. So as always, thank you for watching. If you like our videos or you want to see more of what we do, please like this video and subscribe. It really does give me the motivation to go out and film more, and we'll put more content on. So the more you engage with us, the more content we'll try and put out. If you've got any requests for things you'd like to see us do, or equipment you want to see us review, or any tips videos or other things from our trips, we're trying to get more and more stuff out through all of this year. So please put them in the comments below. And if you disagree with anything I say, put that in there as well. We try and answer as many comments as we can directly. That's it. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you again next time.